Hello, 8-Silkers, and welcome to the 4th day of Capstone.
I'm Caleb.
And my name's Amal.
And together, we're going to be your 2 Capstone presenters for today.
Hey Caleb, now that we're halfway through Capstone, how do you feel?
Awesome! I can't wait for the Capstone Fair. But I'm so sad that this is going to be our last Capstone video. Alright, let's start.
During Capstone Seminar number 4, you will learn more about presenting your project. Every stellar research project deserves a polished presentation to match. During this seminar session, you will review expectations for presenting your posters at the Capstone Fair, and you'll learn best practices to create an engaging, informative research presentation to a panel of both your peers and your judges. You will also have time to continue working on your research and your posters.
First, let's go over some expectations for the Capstone Fair. The Capstone Fair is a celebration of your Capstone Seminar accomplishments. You will have the chance to both showcase your team's posters and presentations, as well as enjoy the work of your classmates and friends. Each team will have time to walk around the gallery and see other teams' posters, as well as present their posters to seminar leaders and teaching fellows. Be sure to use your presentation time wisely.
Think of the Capstone Fair as more of a chance to demonstrate what your team has accomplished over their week of Capstone. The seminar leaders are just there to guide you along and ask meaningful questions. There is absolutely nothing to worry about. Let's go over the grading breakdown for Capstone again. Of your Capstone grade, 60% will come from the Capstone Fair, 30% will come from seminar participation, and 10% will come from your individual reflection.
Of the 60% that comes from the fair, 2/3 will come from your seminar leader's evaluation of your oral presentation, while the remaining 1/3 will come from your teaching fellow's evaluation of your poster quality. We've attached a breakdown of the Capstone grading rubric in your student guides if you're at all confused.
Now that we're done with the boring stuff, let's get into what a good, stellar 8-Sil Capstone presentation should actually look like. In terms of overall structure, it really helps to follow a logical order in your presentation. A good way to do this is to state your problem, thesis, solution at the very start, then discuss the results, next talk about your conclusions, and show off your demo.
Let's start from the very top. Your problem, thesis, and solution. When you're getting ready to present your poster, remember that first impressions do matter. You want to get your audiences hooked into your topic, reeled in by your topic, entranced by your topic.
Make sure you clearly state what your research problem is in an interesting way. If I'm walking past your poster, I want to be attracted by your pitch. Tell me what the problem is, why you chose it, and why I should care about it.
It also helps to include your key findings and impacts as soon as you state your research problem. What did you find? As a judge, I want to know what the answer is as soon as I hear the research problem. Remember that while your Capstone Seminar leader may understand your project and your research question, your other judges may not. Assume that your judge has little to zero background knowledge, so speaking in highly complicated or technical terms may not be the best strategy.
That's a good point, Caleb. In fact, the overall goal of your presentation is to say your content as effectively and as simply as possible. Instead of spending too much time on details, tell me just the key points. Add in statistics, facts, and other finer details as you see fit to help clarify points of the research, but try not to let facts take over your research presentation.
After your introduction, you can state actual key results. What were the most surprising results that you found over the course of your research? How does this build up your argument? Did any part of your research go against what you originally thought?
A good tactic is to walk through your research progress here. Highlight promising areas of your research and briefly touch on dead ends. We want to know if you revised any parts of your hypothesis or corrected misconceptions, since those are all integral to the research process.
Next, let's move on to the conclusion. Here, you may talk about the significance and impact of your research. What are we, as an audience, expected to do with all of your research? To prepare for this section, take a step back and try to answer the question, now what? What's the main takeaway that really drives your research problem home? Additionally, you can also incorporate some next steps. If you had unlimited time and resources, what would you do with this research? What further questions have you generated that you would like to explore?
In fact, conclusion seems like a bit of a misnomer for this section, as the point of your research is to create more paths for you to explore. Your research has just opened a door for other students, professors, and researchers to explore. Congratulations!
After you talk about your conclusion, feel free to turn the audience's attention over to your demo. Your demo is meant to add to your presentation and make it more engaging and fun to present.
Invite your audience to play around with your demo and create a conversation. If you made a prototype, invite them to ask questions and play around with the model. If you made a graphic or a visual, pass it around the crowd and tell them what they should pay attention to.
Make it fun and interactive.
Absolutely. Just by following the advice, you should have one jam-packed presentation.
Awesome. But now that I know what to present, I want to actually figure out how to present. Can you give me some pointers on how to, talk good?
Yepperoni. A presentation consists of both what you say and how you say it. We've already gone over good content in a Capstone presentation, so now let's get over some presentation skills.
When you're giving a presentation, pay attention both to how you're speaking and how you're moving your body. When speaking, remember to enunciate clearly and use an appropriate talking speed so the audience can follow your words. You don't want to speak too fast.
And you don't want to speak too slowly either.
You don't want to be too loud.
You don't want to be so quiet that nobody can hear you.
Your volume, speed, and tone of voice are essential in communicating effectively. Make sure you speak in a measured, controlled, and professional tone of voice so that you can communicate clearly.
The Capstone Fair will be loud, so be ready to speak on the louder side yourself over the noise.
Additionally, make sure you're carrying your body in a way that makes sense. One thing to watch out for is eye contact.
Eye contact signals engagement with the audience. If you're presenting to a judge or another student, make sure that you maintain solid eye contact.
Don't stare at them too intensely. It makes them uncomfortable.
Great point. If you're self-conscious about eye contact or don't want to appear like you're staring into the soul of the audience, feel free to look away for a brief moment. If you're presenting to a couple people at once, you can make eye contact for each of them for a brief while and move along to the next slide.
In addition, make sure that you're using an appropriate amount of hand gestures. Too much and it'll be distracting. Too little and you sound robotic.
Keep your hands in a rough box in front of your body. Do what's comfortable for you. There's no need to move outside of your comfort zone, but hand gestures can enhance your presentation by emphasizing certain information.
Lastly, think about your body posture. Are you slouching while you're talking? Are you aiming your voice at the ground? Do you feel as stiff as a board or as loose as a goose?
Avoid slouching, since that gives off an air of boredom or disinterest. Stand up straight, square your shoulders, and you'll have the best chance of both appearing confident as well as making sure your voice projects well.
In addition, feel free to use the space around you. You don't have to stand glued to one spot for the duration of the presentation. But actually, Amal, one thing that I struggle with is pacing back and forth or doing other nervous gestures while I'm presenting. What can I do to control that?
Great question, Caleb. Before the Capstone Fair, you'll have the chance to present to your peers. Oftentimes, you have nervous habits like pacing or wringing your hands when you're speaking you're not even aware of. Ask your peers for feedback.
Oh, cool. Sometimes, I think it also helps to take a deep breath when you catch yourself in a nervous habit. It's perfectly fine to pause in the middle of a presentation to catch your breath for a moment to calm yourself down.
All right, I think that pretty much covers it in terms of presentation mechanics. Hey Caleb, while we're at it, let's just briefly preview the next couple days, okay?
Let's do it!
Tomorrow, during Capstone Seminar number 5, you will have time to run through your presentations with your SLs for feedback.
Wait. Will I need to have finished my poster by tomorrow? I thought we had a few days to work on them still.
Don't worry, you have the next few days to keep on working on both your posters and your presentations. Treat tomorrow's seminar as a practice run for your presentation skills and less about the actual content. Think more about the organization of your presentation and fixing presentation mechanics like enunciation and posture.
Try out all the tips that we outlined earlier. If you want personalized feedback, feel free to ask an HSILC educational staff member or an SL for some in-depth presentation coaching.
During Capstone Seminar number 6, you will have time to catch up on any work left in your presentations or posters.
Take advantage of your seminar leader's advice and expertise, as this will be the last day you have to work with your seminar leaders in class before the Capstone Fair. Of course, if you happen to run into them outside of class, feel free to ask them questions, but otherwise, you may not have an opportunity to see them before the fair. Use this time wisely to finish any visuals or demos, practice your presentations, and pat yourself on the back. The finish line is near.
You will also take your capstone posters with you after capstone seminar number 6. This way, you can work on them if you choose to outside of class. You're responsible for bringing these posters with you to the capstone fair, so make sure that you don't damage, lose, or otherwise sabotage your capstone papers before the fair.
If you have questions, refer back to your capstone student guides. A detailed breakdown of how the judges will grade your capstone posters and presentations is available for you.
Seminar leaders and educational staff members are here to answer your questions about anything from posters to presentations to grading rubrics. We're happy to help in any way we can.
And finally, remember to put your research caps on, ask questions, and have a great rest of your day.
Signing off, I'm Amal.
And I'm Caleb.
Bye for now. Or really, bye forever.
No!